Picture this for a second. You're sitting in your car, scrolling through reviews, watching comparison videos, and thinking about your next SUV. You feel confident. You think you got time. But what if the SUVs coming in 2026 quietly change the rules before most people even realize what's happening? What if the model you're planning to buy today suddenly feels outdated the moment these new vehicles hit the road? That's exactly why this conversation matters. Because 2026 isn't just another model year. It's a turning point. Automakers aren't doing minor refreshes anymore. They're rethinking size, power, technology, efficiency, and how people actually use SUVs in the real world. And most buyers won't see it coming until it's already here. For the next few minutes, don't think like a shopper. Think like someone who wants to stay ahead. Because the SUVs worth watching in 2026 aren't just about looks or badges. They're about what driving will feel like in the years ahead. Take a moment and imagine how different SUVs already feel compared to 5 years ago. Bigger screens, fewer buttons, smarter safety systems, quieter cabins. That shift is about to accelerate. Manufacturers have learned something important. Buyers want comfort without losing capability. They want efficiency without sacrificing power. They want technology that helps, not distracts. And in 2026, you'll see that philosophy show up everywhere. One of the biggest changes happening right now is how SUVs are being designed around real usage instead of marketing fantasies. People tow, commute, road trip, haul kids, carry gear, and drive in all kinds of weather. The next wave of SUVs is being built for that reality. Another major shift is electrification, but not in the way many people expected. Instead of forcing everything to go fully electric overnight, brands are blending hybrid systems, plug-in options, and efficient gas engines to give buyers flexibility. The result is SUVs that feel powerful, smooth, and surprisingly efficient without demanding lifestyle changes. And then there's technology. Not flashy tech for the sake of it, but systems that genuinely reduce stress. Driver assistance that actually works. Infotainment that doesn't lag. Interiors that feel calm instead of overwhelming. In 2026, SUVs will feel less like machines and more like environments. What makes this moment especially interesting is how competitive the market has become. Every brand knows buyers are more informed than ever. That pressure is forcing real innovation. Cutting corners isn't an option anymore. Some SUVs coming in 2026 are designed to dominate highways. Others are built to disappear into background, making long drives effortless. Some focus on off-road confidence. Others focus on urban comfort. And a few are trying to do all of it at once. But here's the key thing most people miss. Not every big upgrade is obvious at first glance. Some of the most important changes are hidden underneath. Platforms, drivetrains, suspension systems, and software that quietly transform the driving experience. This is where watching early matters. Because when these SUVs arrive, the conversation will shift fast. Models that felt good enough suddenly won't. Features that seem premium will become standard. Expectations will rise overnight. And if you're planning a purchase anywhere near 2026, understanding what's coming gives you leverage. You don't rush. You don't settle. You choose with clarity. Another reason 2026 SUVs are worth watching is how they reflect broader changes in American driving habits. People are keeping vehicles longer. They're expecting more reliability. They want lower running costs without compromising comfort. Manufacturers are responding by building SUVs that age better. Better materials, smarter software updates, engines and batteries designed for longevity instead of just performance numbers. There's also a noticeable shift toward quiet confidence. Gone are the days when every SUV needed aggressive styling to stand out. In 2026, many of the most impressive vehicles will look refined, intentional, and mature. That doesn't mean boring. It means thoughtful. You'll also notice that size categories are blurring. Mid-size SUVs are offering interior space that rivals older full-size models. Compact SUVs are gaining power and features that used to be reserved for higher segments. The value equation is changing, and this is where buyers who wait and watch win, because the first wave of reviews won't tell the whole story. It's how these SUVs feel after months of real-world use that will matter. Smoothness, comfort, reliability, ease of ownership. That's why this series exists. Not to hype one model, not to push buying decisions, but to help you see the landscape clearly before the noise takes over. As we move deeper into this discussion, you'll start to notice patterns. Certain brands doubling down on refinement, others leaning into ruggedness. Some try to bridge both worlds. And you'll start to realize something important. The best SUV in 2026 won't be the same for everyone, but the smartest choice will always be an informed one. If this kind of insight helps you think differently about your next vehicle, take a second and hit the like button. It tells the algorithm that thoughtful automotive content matters. And if you want to stay ahead of what's coming instead of reacting later, make sure you're subscribed. Because this isn't about rushing to buy. It's about knowing when not to. In the next part, we'll move from the big picture into specific shifts you'll see across design, performance, and daily usability. Changes that will quietly redefine what people expect from an SUV in 2026. Once you start noticing those shifts, it becomes impossible to look at SUVs the same way again. What used to impress buyers a few years ago now feels like the bare minimum. And in 2026, that gap between expectation and reality is going to widen even more. Automakers understand this, and that's exactly why the next generation of SUVs is being engineered not just to compete, but to reset what people think an SUV should deliver day after day. One of the most important changes you'll feel immediately in 2026 SUVs is how they drive. Not faster in a dramatic sports car sense, but smoother, calmer, and more controlled. Engineers are spending less time chasing aggressive numbers and more time refining ride quality, steering feedback, and noise isolation. The result is an experience that feels confident instead of tiring, even after hours behind the wheel. This matters because SUVs are no longer secondary vehicles. For many American households, the SUV is a primary car. It handles school runs, commutes, road trips, weekend errands, and everything between. That kind of usage exposes weaknesses quickly. Harsh suspension, noisy cabins, awkward controls. All of it adds up. The 2026 wave is clearly designed to eliminate those pain points. Another big shift is how power is delivered. You'll notice fewer sudden surges and more linear acceleration. Hybrid systems, refined turbocharging, and improved transmissions are working together to make power feel effortless. You press the pedal, and the SUV simply moves without drama, without hesitation. For drivers, this creates a sense of trust. You're not thinking about the engine anymore. You're just driving. At the same time, efficiency is improving in ways that don't feel like compromise. Fuel economy numbers are going up, but what's more important is real-world efficiency. Stop-and-go traffic, highway cruising, loaded cabins. 2026 SUVs.